But in this case, it's a 2-element bridge or 3-element bridge with 2 dies. That's absolutely okay to do it like this. So then what we have with the next tab, the border regions. The border is this green border region over here, also with the cut view. If I'm scrolling like this is my border region. These presets are also depending from the material. If you have, for example, cobalt chrome, non-pressure or metal, you have a smaller value as you use zircon oxide, for example. If you reduce the values and you will mill, for example, zircon oxide, maybe you will have some chipping problems during the milling. So, and these presets normally are really safe. So, with the undercuts, this one I will deactivate again. With the undercuts, you have different options. Over here, this green zone, as you can see, it's free of cement. Here we have a perfect fitting of the crown later on. If there is a small undercut, this arrow on top of the die will be shown in pink, and also you will have a small marking over here on the margin. We protect the zone near margin line close to 0.1. That means we will really have a fitting on the margin. If you have, for example, PMMA or a provisional, you can also set it to 0 and the software will block out this region to the margin line, to 0. Yeah. For the final frame, it's not recommended, but for example, PMMA, for provisionals, we can also block out to 0. The milling diameter, the tool compensation is depending on the smallest tool, which one you use during the milling process. Normally it's 1 millimeter, and we recommend to use 1.2 as a tool compensation. That also this region, if you have small dies, will be definitely milled. If you choose 0.9, for example, or only 1 millimeter, maybe you will have here a little rest of material inside of the crown and the fitting will not be perfect. And over here, it's always 1.2 from default. But this one depends also on the milling machine and how you produce. If you print, also you can deactivate it. So the crown bottom step is done, so we can continue. Okay, with this red zone, you can see the minimum thickness. Over here, I can also show and hide it. The next wizard is showing the copy to function. So we will do a combination. We will copy or mirror one tooth, and the rest we will use, 2 of these we will use with the normal tooth library. So over here, I can copy or mirror the molar tooth only by clicking, and then I can place it over here. So True Smile is activated by default. So here I can grab this tooth and also can move it with Shift. I can scale it directly, and with this markings on top, I can see the contact to the antagonist. So over here I can also rotate by holding Shift. If I like to scale only in one direction, it's also possible to do. If I'm holding Shift and Control, I can scale in one direction. So, but we will do the placement also later on. At first we continue with loading the normal tooth library. So in this step I will hide also the antagonist. Here you can see the premolars are loaded. So if I'm choosing, or if I have chosen the normal tooth library and I'm not happy with the design or with the shape of the tooth, Once you can do also with the right click in the background, load custom model teeth. And also brand new is here we have new tooth libraries in the Plovdiv release. Automatically loaded is the generic library, but here in the drop-down menu you can see we have the Exofan library, which one has a really nice shape. And also, for an example, we have the Psaris. It's also a nice library, and also the Psaris Edgy. These are the new libraries which are available. If I'm like to choose this one, I can click OK, and the software will change the shape or change the library. Okay. So I have also loaded the molar. I had to deactivate this one, but okay, we will use this one, no problem. So also one option, which one is important to know, if I have chosen, for an example, the normal libraries, and the tooth is not fitting here inside of for this Pontic, I can also activate only one by clicking with the right mouse on top of the tooth and load only, for an example, this premolar. And for an example, I can choose a molar tooth or another one. If the shape is not fitting or I have to change the shape, then it's always possible by clicking directly on the tooth and to load another one. So, okay, as you can see, we have a little bit too much contact to the antagonist, so that means here also show in insertion. We can check also the adjacent teeths, and here we have to do the positioning. So that means here I will reduce the height of my library. So at first, without antagonist, and if I like to see also the antagonist, I can show the antagonist and check how it looks like. It's easy by clicking on A on the keyboard and to show and to hide. So, okay. Okay, so if the positioning is done, we can continue with next. The software will adapt automatically the tools to the margin line. And in the next wizard step, we have different options. One is the free-forming to add and remove material. Also the smoothing is available and different tool types. But this one I will show later on when we have adapted the frame. The second tab is anatomic. Here we can grab some clasps to change the height, for an example, or we can grab parts to change the shape a little bit. Also, the entire tooth is available. If you see, okay, maybe there is something which one is not correct, then you can grab also the entire tooth and change it. So over here, adapt step. What we have is here on the bottom side is cut all intersections. That means the software will automatically adapt the approximately contact, the pontic and also the occlusal part in dynamic movement. But I will explain every single topic separately because we have here some good possibilities to do. Pontic means we can adapt in minus or plus. That's important to know. So we have the occlusal part, we have the cut intersection, and also the dynamic movement is activated. That means during my adaptation of the occlusal part, the software will do the movement from the articulator system and will adapt my framework. Here we have a small distance. Here that's also possible to change. You can set it to minus or to plus. If you like to, for an example, you have a full anatomic zircon frame and you would like to place some glass on top, you can change this value. So over here, also possible to do is exclude selected parts. If you like to exclude parts where you like to have more contact, you can select all, deselect, or you can select a special region. Yeah. So here we will cut the intersections, and approximately, so over here, if we have the contact points, as you can see from the bottom side, over here is the same. We have a small contact, but on top we have some separate options. Also the disc cutter is shown over here. If you like to really to control without the jaw scan, if you like to control your contact point, you have this disc cutter function. And this cutter will always import it in the insertion direction. So over here you can see if I'm using the disc cutter and I'm controlling this one, I can have a really nice contact point to my adjacent tooths. That's one option to use. And also if it's a difficult situation, we have here block out neighbor collision. It's also in the insertion direction that the software will block out directly the adjacent tooths. So we will also use the cut all intersection function over here. So attachments is over here. That's the last tab, but in this case we don't use it. It's only to see this is always possible in the freeform step. We can place some attachments, or we can also subtract parts from the frame. So, but we go back to the freeform step or freeform tab. Here in the smoothing part, we can add material, we can remove material, and smoothing is the same. We can smooth the frame, and also with the shift, we can use it in a fast way. Here for the Pontic, for an example, we also can shape a little bit the basal part of the Pontic. If I'm unhappy with the visualization of the true smile, I can always deactivate over here the true smile, and I can use the normal freeforming. So over here with the tooltips or with the tools, I can also add and remove material and do some nice freeforming on the frame. So. Okay, if I'm done, so we continue. So over here I have chosen a full anatomic crown, and here for an example for the Pontic I'd like to choose that it's only shrinked vestibular, and here I have the depth of the shrinkage of the material which one we have to apply later on. And with this option, exclude selected parts, I can mark, for an example, I will hide this tooth. I will mark over here. So. Oops. Oops. So Okay. Okay, so over here, I think it's done. So we can continue. The software will shrink my frame. As you can see over here, this is not perfect. So that means here I can use the smoothing tool and smooth here the frame. Also the edges, if they are not perfectly, I can go over and smooth it. So here we don't have to do anything else. It's done, so that means we can continue. And we are in one of the last steps, in the connector step. The connectors are shown over here in the yellow color. We have the minimum area, it's 9 millimeter. Here for zircon oxide, it's a little bit more. We have different shapes, which one we can use, for an example. Triangle shape, and if I'm applying the cross-section, the software will apply this one. So here, if I'm taking or grabbing my connector, I can also change the position in totally. We have another tooltip over here. If I'm grabbing my connector and I'm holding the shift key, I can bend my connector. And here you can see this yellow points. That's the center of my connector. If I'm holding the control key, I can also grab one side of my connector and change the position. Yeah, we have here different options in the normal positioning step, but on top also we have here in free form more freedom to change the shape of the connector. As you can see, we have a lot of control points, and also the visualization of my connector is shown. If I'm getting less than my minimum area or dimension, then the software will show it in numbers, and also with the color in the purple color and the pink color to see, okay, it's a little bit too thin, for an example. Yeah. And here we have all the freedom to change the shape and to freeform our connectors. So that's it. So we will continue. This one was shown in red because it's a little bit less under the minimum area, but it's okay for this. So, so I have done the merge and save step. The software is saving one STL file in 3D optimization. It's SLM optimized, but it's also possible to mill, for an example. So here I can select I'm done. Proceed to production. That means I can also start directly my my CAM software. Here, freeform restoration, it's possible to use. Expert mode is possible to use, and design model. So at first, in the freeform, I have one option, or I will show this one without the antagonist. So, as I told you before, in the we have saved there a file. In the freeform, if I'm using the smooth tool, it's one STL file. So that means if I'm going over this frame, it's really nice to smooth it. It's one element. So over here, so I will really save it, correct? So then also important to know, if I have forgot to do something or something is wrong, we have different options. Over here in the bottom part in this toolbar, we have only some small functions or small things. We can do delete reconstruction. That means we can delete this merged bridge, but it's not that we delete the whole frame or the whole design. It's only the merged part which one we delete. It's important to know. The software is opening the design again. And here you have all possibilities. You can open every single step which one we have done before for the whole project. If I'm using one of these buttons, the whole project will be activated. Also the same, if I'm clicking on the background with my right mouse, I have also all possibilities over here in my list. And the difference, if I'm clicking directly on one of the tooth, you can see only this tooth is activated. And for an example, I have checked something was wrong. Here I have the possibility to correct the margin line, for an example, or I can open the reduce tooth part, freeform. Everything is over here. And I can always change everything what I have done before. So, but I will save it again, and I will show you another option. So, the frame is merged. So, and over here, if I have merged my file, and during the design, I've done the design, it's maybe a huge bridge, I realize, okay, if I'm using a whole framework, it will not fit later on. So this one I will show. So if I'm realizing, okay, if I have 5 or 6 dies, and if I'm using one whole frame, it will not fit in totally, I can always split my bridge at the end of the design. It's merged, and here, if I'm clicking directly in the background or on the frame, you can see split bridge. So here in our menu, we have different possibilities to use. And here we can choose, for an example, a bone shape of 1.8 millimeter. That's the size. That's definitely millable with the 1 millimeter tool. And you can see also smaller ones. And also we have different gap sizes. Yeah, that we have a little bit more space for the cement or for the glue and less. So over here, you can always positioning this split, a bridge splitter. Yeah, you can set from view, you can set selected tooth insertion direction. Yeah. So, and if I'm rotating this, for an example, yeah, you can apply, and the software will split the bridge, and then you will have 2 pieces. Over here is one. So, and the second part. Yeah. So we have some more options. Okay, if I'm realizing also maybe later on something was wrong with the bite, also with the die, maybe we have to re-prep something, or we have to change the positioning of the antagonist. What we have is over here with the tools, we have an option to add or remove mesh. I have right now only a pre-op scan available, but as you can see in our list, you can, for an example, extra jaw scan you can import. If you have another jaw scan, you can also import extra multi-die scan. For an example, if you have only a scan from a die or face scan, you can also import gingiva mask and visualization mesh. We have all possibilities over here. In my case, I will import the pre-op scan, I will load my case, and over here you can see test C2. The software is importing, yes, is importing the scan. It's in the same position. I will move it a little bit. No, no, it's not. No, it's not possible. It's the same. Okay, but here, anyway, what you can do is, oh, really? No. Here, over here. So, okay, I've moved it to another position. So, and here with the align meshes step, I can mark different points on my meshes, and we recommend to use points which one are away from each other. So, and if I'm clicking over here and here, preform alignment, I can align every best fit matching also. I can align or import any type of mesh and change what I have done before. If I have a new byte, if I have a new C2 or an old C2, which one I had not before, I can import at any time with add and remove mesh any type of STL file, or also an face scan, for an example. Okay, this is done. Okay, and as you can see, right now I have also the pre-op scan included and can show and hide also the pre-op scan. So, and here I will go back to the reset mode. That's done. So, and I think, yeah, that's it. I'm done. And I keep it open. Maybe there are some questions. I will open my panel and maybe Michael will join and hopefully we'll have some questions.
Hi again.
Hey.
Yes. Thank you, Pina. It was amazing. And we had so common question on what is the difference between virtual articulators actually, and is there any differences in algorithm of working of different types of virtual articulators?
Okay, yeah, definitely we have different articulator systems here included. If I'm opening also this menu, so let me open this one. No, sorry. That was wrong. So I will go back to the expert mode and I will open the articulator system again. This one takes a little bit of time. So the articulator systems are here included. That means every single articulator is the same as you have in your laboratory. As for an example, the type A is the Artix articulator, and here you can change all the values which one you use in your laboratory. It's a copy one-to-one to your real one. Yeah, and if you are using, for an example, type A or SIM or the Quickmaster or another one, you can do, or the Prota, for an example, they are all here included, and you can use them as you know it. So, okay. Any other question about the articulator system, maybe?
So, and does it mean that the mathematics background for different articulators is as well different, yes, depending on the model?
Yes, depending on the model.
Depending on the movement and so far.
Yes, it's the same. We have different types and they have different, they are different. You have sometimes more movements. You have more options over here sometimes, yeah, and that's the same as in real, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Another question, could you show how to add extra jaw scan and how to align this extra jaw scan?
Okay, no problem, but it's only like a fake extra jaw scan, okay? I will import the same as I already have. But here on tools, add and remove mesh, I can select extra jaw scan. So I will load my jaw scan one more time. It's the lower jaw. So, okay. So, and if I'm going back, So to my wizard mode, you can see it's only the jaw scan without the dice. But here the software is automatically showing this wizard step, the scan alignment step. So that means important is here that you rotate your models in the same direction. It's not so easy for the software. Maybe can fail if you have the position like this or like this. They have to be in the same direction roundabout. And then by clicking on one point, which one you can see on both scans, that's important, the software is starting to matching these two scans. And directly you can see the results. They are absolutely green and it's a really good matching. So, and important to know is also, if you continue, what you have is here, we can merge the scan data. That means the software will merge both together. But for example, if you have a separate die, which one you import, which you would like to replace, then the software will replace this scan. Yeah, that's one option. Yeah, that's important to know. You can choose if you like to completely replace or also to merge the scan. I hope so. That's it for the add and remove mesh step. Something else, Michael? Oh, he's gone. Or
thank you.
Over here. Yeah.
I have some more questions. For example, how to add digital Facebook records in virtual articulator.
Okay. No, what we have is in the virtual articulator, not real. What we have is the same over here with add and remove mesh.
Sorry, Pina, sorry.
No.
It's about how to add like jaw motion data to adjust virtual articulator. You can show it, but maybe we don't have data set for it. But they have a new option in Plovdiv for it.
Yes, I will only show it, but sorry for that. We don't have this this XML file. But anyway, important is that you have this information from your device, from the measurement device. Here, for an example, you can load the digital Facebook articulator settings. Yeah, but really important to know, once you have to have this device where you do the measurement before. This device is automatically, have an XML file, data file with all the informations. And important is that you have on your model or on your dongle this module. It's a jaw motion module activated. And then here you can load. Yes, I accept this one. So, and then you can load this jaw motion from Zebrus, for an example, or another one. It's an XML file, and then you have to select this file, and the software is automatically importing, or this one I can't, is importing all the information which one we have collected before with the devices. For an example, we have a special movement for lateral rotation, or we have the values for protrusion, or so on. This information will be loaded and automatically will be changed over here. That means I have really the information from the device, and then I can use this as my movement. That's important to know. Yeah. I hope this one.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So
we have some more questions. Maybe I answer these questions later on because our time is out.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes to go. If you have some,
okay.
Yeah, no, it's okay. We can answer. And there is no webinar. There is no webinar behind us. It's okay. We can stay a little bit longer.
For example, makes this difference if you work on full arch or half arch in articulator?
No, the movement is the same. That's the same. Important is really if you have an intraoral scan or if you have a scan with full arch and a lot of dyes, that you really have the real position. If the models are not well positioned in the articulator system, then it doesn't work correctly. That's the normal situation. That's important to know. Yeah, but the movement is the same if you have half arch or full arch. You don't have to scan the whole arch.
Okay, thank you. And what to do if we have some intersections or gap between JAWS and virtual articulator?
Okay. If you start the articulator, for an example, the software is checking intersections. This one will be done automatically, and is if you have small intersections, you will see it over here. It's 0.004. It's nothing. Yeah. So and also, if you, that's really important to know, if you start the articulator and you have a gap in between, the software will show you directly a message. There is a gap. And if you would like to use this gap, for an example, you would like to have this, or if you bring them together, this JAWS, that's your option. Yeah, the software will give you the distance and information about the distance, and also if you have intersections. For an example, also in the articulator system, you have the possibility to open the byte. But another option is if you have opened the scans and you click directly on the antagonist scan with right mouse, you can correct the antagonist scan. Yes, I will clear the articulator results, that's correct. And over here, you have the possibility to correct the antagonist. For an example, you can do it in move freely, but it's you don't have any reference. That's not really good to do. But here, you can open the byte only in set direction. Also possible is to do it in minus, for an example. Yeah. Then you have an intersection also. Yeah. You can see if I'm moving over this, show distance. Oh. If I'm moving it down, further down, and also I will show the contacts, helvative or included. You can see how much contact you have on your teeth. Yeah, these are some options on top. But normally, if you work with the articulator system, you can open the byte over here, for an example. Yeah.
Okay.
So, right.
Next
okay.
question. Thank you. This is a good question. 1 second. How to get the correct position in virtual articulator? Correct jaw positions in virtual articulator.
Yeah, if you have a normal desktop scan in the laboratory, the most of the articulator systems, they can scan the articulator and then you have the real position. But anyway, if you don't have, we have in the articulator research step or in this tool, we have re-articulate models virtually. Yeah, and over here, as I have shown it at the beginning, you can show and hide the articulator system. You have the occlusal plane. We have also some additional options, vertical plane we can show, and so on. And with the manual positioning, but it's really manual, you don't have references, you can change and rotate your models, for an example, but also without the planes, you have the automatically positioning, and with these 3 points, for an example, over here, you preform the alignment, and then you have the real position and the correct position in the articulator system. Yeah. That's the possibility over here to re-articulate the models.
Okay,
if they are
thank
not
you.
scanned correctly. Yeah. And also if there are some open questions, which one we have not answered, this session will be recorded, and also these questions we will keep and we'll have your email address, and then we will answer later on these questions. So anything else, Michael?
Maybe again about Articulator. SIM Articulator is not included in the version 2.3 software. I don't think so. That not included. No. Sure, it is.
Sure, it is. Yes.
Maybe check with your reseller.
Yes, the SAM Articulator is since, I don't know, 2012. I've started with Exocad, and I think it was included at the beginning. Yeah, it's still included. The list is still growing, yeah, as you can see over here. There are all the articulator systems inside, and but the Artex and the SAM was at the beginning definitely included. Yeah.
Maybe another question.
Yep.
How can we do canine guidance?
Okay, this is a little bit more for, yeah, also for bite splints. But anyway, also over here, what we have is, okay, we have different ways. One is here we can choose which teeth influence the articulator movements. This one I will show also on top. So, and here you can, for an example, you can mark mark some teeth or paint some areas. Or by scan, you can use the pre-op scan, apply, and here you can also, okay, we have to, okay, this is my message. I have an intersection because I have used this correct antagonist. As you can see, I can open the articulator system, or also can move the upper and lower jaw along Z-axis. This one I will use. So, and here, as you can see, I have chosen pre-op scan. That's one thing I can apply. And then software is using also the pre-op scan as a reference. But more important is here that you can mark. Pre-op one I will hide. So I can mark by clicking the teeth, or I can also set completely or reset or mark regions. And these teeth will be influenced articulating and guidance also over here. Yeah, and during the adaptation also you can always mark regions which one are excluded for the adaptation, that you have more contact, and also I will cancel this one. Okay, this one is not shown anymore, but in this window here on top, maybe if I'm open this one, no, it's not shown anymore. I'm done with my design, but here in the show and hide over here on the right side, you have always the movements, and you have the show distances, and then you can do the movement, and you can really control with add and remove material where you have contact, and you can control your guidance. So, something else? 1 minute to go.
Thank you. Can we use a face scan to align jaws in virtual articulator?
I don't know what you mean exactly, but you can always import also face scans, yes. And then you align. and you align also the jaw scans to the face scan, and that's it. Yeah, and then you have also the face scans included, or the face scan. Yeah.
Yes, you can do it, but in my opinion, it makes not so much sense because this method is not as accurate as normal face bow or better digital face bow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's only like a visualization. The face scan is only to see the whole face and also the lips. And if you turn your head, that you can see how it looks like from the side. But it's a visualization. If you would like really to use the jaw relation, you have to use a face bow or a measurement device to really to work in a perfect way.
Exactly. Thank you very much, and thanks for attendance for all.
Yes, thank you. I hope you enjoy the session, and I will repeat it again. We will have a lot of more webinars the next few days. Today it was more a little bit like a beginner and some expert parts. Stay tuned, and we will show a lot of more. And don't forget, your freedom is our passion. Bye-bye.